In the heart of Jerusalem, around the year 1119, a small but determined group of knights came together with a unique mission. Led by Hugh de Payens and Godfrey of Saint-Omer, these 9 individuals would found an order that would come to be known as the Knights Templar. Their aim was not merely to fight for a cause, but to blend monastic discipline with martial prowess. These knights were driven by an unyielding commitment to protect European pilgrims traveling to the holy sites in Jerusalem. The Temple Mount in Jerusalem served as their initial headquarters, a strategic location that symbolized their dedication to safeguarding the sacred spaces of Christianity. By combining traditional monastic oaths with the heavy cavalry techniques honed in Holy Land warfare, these knights transformed themselves into a formidable force. This transformation was not merely physical, but also spiritual. Their vows, taken around 119 to 1120, mirrored those of traditional monks, but were shaped by the martial and sacrificial nature of their mission. Imagine a knight not just as a warrior, but also as a monk, bound by strict codes of conduct that governed every aspect of his life. These early knights were the seeds from which the legendary order would grow, laying the foundation for a group that would come to wield significant influence and power in medieval Europe. Their story is one of transformation, from ordinary knights into a force that combined spiritual devotion with military might, setting the stage for their legendary exploits to come. But to truly understand the Knights Templar, we must explore how these early principles guided their actions and shaped their destiny in the years ahead. The Knights Templar, founded around the year 1119, were not your average knights. They were bound by a code of conduct that combined monastic discipline with martial prowess, transforming ordinary knights into a formidable force. At the heart of their moral code lay the Cistercian rule, a set of principles that emphasized poverty, obedience, and chastity. Under this rule, every knight was required to transfer all his personal assets and lands to the collective. This vow of poverty ensured that wealth did not divide the order. It wasn't just about financial sacrifice. The Templars also took vows of chastity and obedience, similar to traditional monastic oaths, but adapted for their military service. Imagine a knight in full armor, riding into battle with his brethren. The sight alone must have been awe-inspiring. But these weren't just any knights. Their moral code shaped them into something greater, a brotherhood bound by unyielding discipline and unity. This combination of monastic principles with martial training created a force that was both devoutly religious and formidably powerful on the battlefield. Think about it, a knight who could pray with the same fervor he fought, armed not just with a sword, but also with unwavering obedience and self-denial. And so, the Knights Templar forged ahead, their path guided by these vows that shaped not only their actions, but also their very souls. As the Knights of the Order of the Temple swore their vows, one stood out as particularly distinct for them, the Vow of Poverty. This was not merely a pledge to live simply, it was an absolute commitment that set the Templars apart from secular knights of their era. Their distinctive white mantles, adorned with a red cross, symbolized this commitment to the faith above all else. Imagine a young nobleman, raised in a grand castle with vast estates, choosing this path. The decision was not just symbolic, it fundamentally transformed their lives and priorities. With no personal wealth to protect or gain, their missions became singularly focused on the faith and the defense of pilgrims. This combination of monastic discipline with martial prowess transformed ordinary knights into a formidable force, bound together by shared sacrifice and purpose. Balancing these two worlds was no easy task. The code of conduct for the Templars emphasized that their primary obligation lay not in wealth or power, but in spiritual purity and dedication to their mission. This code was rigorous and demanding. The Templars were required to remain celibate, a stark contrast to the typical life of a knight. Their vows imposed a deep religious commitment, and emphasized the knights' devotion not only to their monastic life, but also to their military and protective duties throughout the Holy Land. Celibacy was seen as a crucial aspect of maintaining spiritual purity, essential for the Templars' sacrificial mission. Historical records suggest that this requirement was not merely a suggestion, but a fundamental part of their commitment to spiritual purity and dedication to their mission. The Templars were expected to balance their martial duties with spiritual devotion, creating a unique blend of religious fervor and military prowess. Highlight the dual nature of their commitment, formidable in battle yet devoted to spiritual purity. It's the dawn of a new day in the medieval realm, where the Knights Templar are already awake, kneeling in their dormitory as they begin their morning penance and prayers. This daily routine was deeply ingrained in their lives, serving as both a spiritual anchor and a testament to their commitment to monastic discipline. Their rules were meticulously crafted to embody the essence of monastic life, drawing from ancient traditions of the early Christian monks. This blend of rigorous spiritual practices with military prowess set them apart from other knights. Meals were eaten in silence, a stark contrast to the usual chatter of medieval gatherings. This enforced quietude was not just about maintaining decorum, but also about fostering humility. In their daily existence, rigorous rules aimed at nurturing humility, obedience, and brotherhood were paramount. Each knight was expected to adhere to these principles, not just in times of peace, but also on the battlefield. Penance played a profound role in their lives, serving as a constant reminder of their mortality and the need for spiritual purity. It was not merely a ceremonial act, but an integral part of their daily regimen. Their prayer schedules were meticulously structured, with dedicated times set aside for private reflection and collective worship. This routine ensured that spiritual devotion remained at the core of their lives. Discipline was maintained on the battlefield through specific formations, which not only ensured military effectiveness, but also reinforced their commitment to spiritual purity amidst martial duties. Beyond the battlefield, the Knights Templar lived by a rigorous code of conduct that transformed ordinary knights into an extraordinary force. Their moral code was designed to strip away individual ego in service of a higher collective purpose. Bravery was not merely the courage to fight, but the resolve to stand firm in the face of adversity, be it on the battlefield or within the fortified walls of their strongholds. Chastity ensured that no worldly distractions would cloud their judgment or weaken their resolve, freeing them to pursue their mission with unyielding focus. Obedience bound them to a hierarchy that ensured swift and decisive action when lives were on the line, and humility before their superiors and God. These moral frameworks distinguished chivalrous warriors from ordinary soldiers, forging a brotherhood where each knight was but a single thread in the tapestry of their collective purpose. In the quiet moments between battles, they would reflect on these virtues, fortifying their resolve and deepening their commitment to their sacred mission. On the battlefield, their actions spoke louder than words, embodying a courage that was as much spiritual as it was martial. It was this code of conduct, rooted in monastic discipline and knightly honor, that shaped the Knights Templar into a formidable force, revered and feared across the Holy Land. And as they stood united in their faith and duty, they knew that no adversity could break them, for their strength lay not in individual prowess, but in the collective power of their brotherhood. Chastity, a virtue long associated with monastic life, held particular significance among the Knights Templar. For these warrior monks, celibacy was not merely a spiritual ideal, but an essential component of their martial discipline. The vow of chastity typically implies celibacy in monastic contexts, binding the Templars to lives of purity and devotion. However, the martial and sacrificial nature of their mission sparks debate on how strictly this vow was observed. Though their primary duty was to protect pilgrims, they were trained as elite warriors with a deep religious commitment. It was believed that this strict code transformed ordinary knights into a formidable force with unyielding loyalty and bravery. This collective power of their brotherhood was crucial in the adversities they faced on the battlefield. Explore how this influenced their lives and missions. It was in the heart of the Second Crusade, 1147–49, that the Knights Templars' moral code first faced its greatest tests on the battlefield. This period marked a significant role for these devout Christian warriors as they fought to secure the Holy Land and protect pilgrims traveling there. Their commitment to obedience meant that they could operate seamlessly within the collective structure, following orders without hesitation. This unity made them a formidable force on the battlefield. During this key battle, their vow of chastity, which emphasized spiritual purity and focus, allowed them to maintain a clear mind amidst the chaos of warfare. This mental clarity was instrumental in their strategic decisions. Their vow of poverty ensured that material wealth did not distract them from their mission. This allowed them to fight with a single-minded focus, driven by their faith and devotion rather than personal gain. Fast forward to the Siege of Acre in 1291, another critical event where their moral code was put into action. The Knights Templar played a significant role in defending the city against the Mamluks' relentless assaults. Here, their discipline and obedience were again put to the test as they held the lines against overwhelming odds. The unity instilled by their code ensured that each knight fought not for themselves, but for the collective good. Their vow of chastity kept them spiritually pure and focused on their mission, while their commitment to poverty ensured that they fought selflessly for the greater good. This translated into a martial effectiveness that was unparalleled in the medieval world. In these key battles, the Knights Templars' moral code transformed ordinary knights into a formidable force, capable of operating with unmatched discipline and focus in the heat of battle. Their vows ensured that they fought selflessly and effectively, making them an instrumental part of medieval history. The Knights Templar, renowned for their unwavering discipline and focus on the battlefield, faced a momentous shift in their fate. In 1312, Pope Clement V issued a papal bull known as Vox in Excelso, effectively disbanding the order. This marked the beginning of the end for the once formidable force that had shaped medieval history. The path to their dissolution began decades earlier when Pope Honorius II approved their code of conduct, known as the Latin Rule, in 1128. This rule structured their daily lives and military operations, ensuring they operated with unmatched discipline. However, their banking innovations led to substantial wealth accumulation. This prosperity drew unwanted attention from various political figures who sought to control or dismantle the order. In 1308, Pope Clement V excommunicated the Templars for alleged heresy. This marked a significant blow to their reputation and standing within the Church. The final nail in the coffin came in 1312, when Pope Clement V officially disbanded the order with Vox in Excelso. This papal bull brought to an end a legacy that had spanned nearly 2 centuries. Despite their fall, the impact of the Knights Templar endured. Their innovations in banking and military strategy left a lasting legacy that continued to influence future generations. The Knights Templars' lasting influence can be seen in the strict codes of conduct and vows adopted by medieval knight orders. These codes defined their ideals and disciplined their members, transforming ordinary knights into a formidable force. The vows taken by Crusader knights embodied moral and spiritual principles that guided them in their missions. These principles shaped the identity of the knights amidst the tumultuous medieval warfare, creating a sense of unity and purpose. The codes of conduct included penalties for disobedience, ensuring that knights remained steadfast in their duties. This strict discipline reinforced social order within medieval military tradition. The Knights Templars' legacy can be seen in modern practices that still uphold principles of loyalty and chivalry. Their commitment to both martial prowess and spiritual devotion continues to influence military orders today. Despite centuries passing, the enduring influence of the Templars is evident in how modern societies still value discipline and honor. The principles that once guided the Templars now serve as models for contemporary military and religious practices. Their legacy serves as a reminder that the ideals they upheld continue to shape our world today. The strict codes and vows of the medieval knights have left an indelible mark on the history of military orders. Their enduring influence underscores the timeless power of discipline and devotion in shaping history. These ideals continue to inspire modern practices that strive for the same balance of martial prowess and spiritual devotion. Known officially as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, the Knights Templar were a force to be reckoned with. Their official name reflects their dual mission: spiritual devotion and martial prowess. Their code of conduct, combining monastic discipline with military training, transformed ordinary knights into a formidable force. This blend of spirituality and martial skill made them stand out among other knightly orders. But what if such an order were to exist today? In a world where religious conflicts still persist, could the principles that guided the Knights Templar be applied to create a new, formidable force for peace and protection? Imagine an order committed to protecting pilgrims, not just in the Holy Land, but wherever religious persecution occurs. Their training would combine modern military tactics with ancient monastic practices. So, as we look to the future, we can envision a new generation of knights, bound by strict codes of conduct, ready to protect the vulnerable and uphold justice in our troubled world. Their spirit lives on, inspiring us to strive for a balance between strength and piety. Perhaps their example can guide us towards creating a more peaceful future, where the principles of devotion, discipline, and protection come together to serve the greater good. To grasp the formidable might of the Knights Templar, one must delve into their intricate hierarchical structure, a blend of monastic discipline and martial prowess that transformed ordinary knights into a fearsome force. At the zenith stood the Grand Master, the order's spiritual and administrative leader, entrusted with maintaining the highest standards of discipline and devotion. His counsel was invaluable. Decisions were often made collectively through a committee of senior knights known as the Chapter General, ensuring wisdom guided every move. The Seneschal, or Steward, managed the day-to-day affairs and logistics, keeping the order's vast resources efficiently deployed for their mission. The Marshal, a seasoned military commander, oversaw battlefield tactics and strategies, ensuring the knights were not merely brave, but also tactically astute. Under him served the commander, who led smaller units on specific missions or campaigns, enforcing discipline and coordinating maneuvers with precision. The sergeant brother managed the rank-and-file knights, ensuring their equipment was ready and that they followed orders diligently, embodying the order's martial rigor. Below them were the knights themselves, elite warriors bound by vows of chastity and obedience, balancing their spiritual duties with formidable martial skills. At the base of this pyramid were the squires, young trainees who assisted the knights and learned the ways of both monastic life and military prowess, ensuring continuity in the order. In battle, this structure ensured swift and decisive action. Every knight knew their role and executed it with disciplined precision. Their formidable prowess was a testament to how discipline, when infused with purpose, could transform ordinary men into extraordinary warriors dedicated to their cause. Beyond their martial prowess, the Knights Templars' true strength lay in their discipline. This was no ordinary code of conduct. It was a meticulous blend of monastic rigor and military precision. At the heart of this system lay the rule of Saint Benedict, adapted for the unique challenges faced by these warrior monks. This rule, known for its emphasis on obedience, stability, and the conversion of life, provided a solid foundation for their order. The principle of obedience was crucial to maintaining unity within the Templar ranks. Like their monastic counterparts, they vowed absolute allegiance to their superiors, ensuring cohesion during battle. Stability was another key tenet they embraced. Despite the transient nature of their military life, they maintained a consistent routine, grounding themselves in predictable daily practices that kept them focused on their mission. Central to Benedictine thought was the idea of converting one's life into a continual act of worship. The Templars internalized this, transforming every aspect of their military service into an offering. Their daily routines were meticulously structured, beginning with the early morning prayers that mirrored those of Benedictine monks. This spiritual start to the day set a tone of devotion and humility. The Templars also incorporated regular periods of silence, creating moments for reflection and self-examination. This quietude was not merely a break from battle, but a sacred time to align with their inner calling. Their rigorous adherence to Benedictine principles elevated them beyond mere soldiers. They became living symbols of the virtues they upheld. Obedience, stability, and devotion were not just ideals, but tangible qualities that defined their order. The rule of Saint Benedict was more than a set of guidelines. It was a blueprint for creating an order that could withstand the rigors of war and remain steadfast in their commitment. By blending these timeless principles with the realities of military life, the Templars achieved a level of discipline that was both formidable and deeply spiritual. In their unique fusion of monasticism and martial valor, the Knights Templar exemplified how a life dedicated to higher principles could transcend the mundane and become something extraordinary. In the sweltering summer of 1291, the fortified city of Acre in the Holy Land braces for another siege. The Mamluk Sultanate's army encircles the city, poised to strike against its Christian inhabitants. The Templar Grand Master, William de Beaujeu, strategizes from within the temple's fortified walls. His tactical decisions are not merely shaped by military prowess, but also guided by his adherence to the monastic vows. William's commitment to obedience compels him to consult with King Henry II of Cyprus, who has arrived to aid the defense. Meanwhile, the Templars' unyielding discipline keeps them focused on their sacred duty amidst the chaos. The Templars' adherence to chastity, though often debated among historians, finds expression in their single-minded devotion to their mission. Throughout the siege, their unwavering dedication to their religious and military mission turns the tide. Eventually, after weeks of intense battle, the Mamluk army withdraws, recognizing the futility of continued assault. The Knights Templar, adhering to their strict code of conduct, have once again demonstrated how the fusion of monastic discipline and martial valor can transform ordinary knights into a formidable force. This siege serves as a testament to the power of their unique way of life, forged in both the monastery and on the battlefield. Their legendary status is not just a tale of valor, but also a story of unwavering commitment to higher ideals. One of the most profound ways this commitment manifested was through their practice of penance. The Templars saw pilgrimages not merely as journeys to sacred sites, but as acts of spiritual devotion and self-sacrifice. These pilgrimages were often undertaken in atonement for their sins or to strengthen their resolve in the face of adversity. Within their daily routines, spiritual exercises were deeply integrated, serving as a constant reminder of their monastic vows. Confession and self-flagellation played significant roles in their penitential practices. These acts were not merely ritualistic, but held profound spiritual significance for the Templars. The interplay between spiritual devotion and martial discipline was at the core of their code of conduct. It transformed ordinary knights into a formidable force, dedicated to both spiritual purity and military prowess. Their strict religious commitment and deep devotion to both monastic life and military duties throughout the Holy Land set them apart from other knightly orders. However, as their role expanded during times of war and turmoil, so did the interpretation and application of their vows. The Second Crusade, in particular, brought significant changes to their customs and traditions. During this period, Historical records suggest that the Templars began to adopt stricter interpretations of celibacy, enforcing it more rigorously across their order. This shift was likely driven by the need for greater spiritual purity amidst the tumult of war and the desire to maintain their reputation as a disciplined force. The evolution of these vows was not just a response to external pressures, but also an internal drive to maintain their relevance and effectiveness as a martial monastic order. As their influence grew, so did the recognition of the power behind their commitment to spiritual and martial excellence. Their code, shaped by monastic discipline and martial prowess, became a beacon for other knightly orders seeking to balance faith with duty. Among these were the Benedictines, known for their strict rules and commitment to prayer and manual labor. The Benedictine tradition emphasized the rule of Saint Benedict, which stressed stability, conversatio morum, or the conversion of manners, and obedience. Another influential order was the Cluniacs, renowned for their reform movements and the establishment of numerous monasteries across Europe. The Cluniac reforms introduced a more rigorous observance of the Benedictine rule, with an emphasis on liturgical prayer and communal living. Perhaps the most significant influence came from the Cistercians, who emphasized a return to the simpler monastic traditions of early Christianity. The Cistercian rule focused on strict adherence to poverty and manual labor, reflecting the values of humility and self-sacrifice that were integral to the Templar mission. These influences from various monastic traditions enriched the Templars' code, making them a formidable force dedicated to both faith and duty. To join the Knights Templar, a candidate underwent rigorous initiation rituals that combined monastic discipline with military prowess. The process began with a series of vows and oaths, sealing their commitment to the order. The initiation ceremonies were deeply religious in nature, with candidates swearing to remain celibate as part of their commitment to spiritual purity and devotion to their mission. The order was structured with a hierarchy of ranks, each with specific requirements that members had to meet before they could advance. For instance, novices began as serving brothers, who performed menial tasks and underwent intensive training in both religious and military practices. As they proved their worth, they could rise to become knight brothers, fully initiated members of the order who took part in combat and protection missions. Promotion rituals were solemn occasions, marked by ceremonies that reinforced the knights' commitment to their faith and duties. Each new rank came with increased responsibilities and privileges, all of which were governed by the strict vows and codes of conduct that the Templars had taken. The hierarchy ensured a well-ordered structure where each knight knew their place and role, contributing to the overall strength of the order. This structured advancement not only maintained discipline within the order, but also ensured that every Templar was prepared for the rigors of their mission. Through these rituals and hierarchies, the Knights Templar upheld their code of conduct, transforming ordinary knights into a formidable force dedicated to both faith and duty. Their adherence to these principles made them one of the most feared and respected military orders in medieval Europe. This relationship between the Templars and local communities was complex, shaped by both support and resistance. Locally, their presence was often met with awe and respect. The common folk saw them as guardians of the holy sites, protecting pilgrims and maintaining order in regions plagued by conflict. The Templars' discipline and loyalty extended beyond their own order. They maintained strict codes of conduct that ensured they were seen as upholders of justice and protectors of the weak. Economically, they contributed significantly to local economies by constructing fortifications and castles that provided employment opportunities for nearby communities. Culturally, their influence was profound. Their military prowess and religious devotion inspired stories and legends that spread across Europe, shaping the collective imagination of the medieval world. However, this relationship was not without tension. There were instances where local communities resisted the Templars' growing power and influence. Jealousy over their wealth and status sometimes led to conflicts. Despite these challenges, the Templars remained committed to their mission of protecting the holy sites and pilgrims. Their unwavering loyalty and devotion earned them a lasting place in history as one of the most revered military orders of their time. In essence, the Knights Templars' discipline and loyalty extended beyond the confines of their order, shaping not only their own story, but also the fabric of medieval European society. Their relationship with local communities was a testament to how monastic discipline and martial prowess could transform ordinary knights into a formidable force for both protection and inspiration. But the true power of the Knights Templar lay not just in their martial prowess, but in the profound discipline they adhered to. Their code of conduct, a blend of monastic rigor and knightly honor, transformed ordinary knights into formidable warriors. At the heart of this transformation was their commitment to asceticism, a practice that fortified their resilience and focus. At the core of the Templars' transformation lay a vow that bound them together: obedience. A rigid hierarchy governed their ranks, stretching from the Grand Master at the pinnacle to sergeants at the base. Each role defined by specific duties and expectations. The Grand Master, the highest authority, oversaw all Templar operations. His strategic decisions were carried out without question by those beneath him. During pivotal battles like Hattin in 1187 and Acre in 1291, obedience ensured seamless execution of tactics. Just below the Grand Master were the marshals, responsible for overseeing military training and drills. Their commands shaped knights into disciplined fighters, embodying the ideal of martial prowess within monastic discipline. Lieutenants managed logistics and supplies, ensuring that every mission was supported with precision and efficiency. Obedience here meant timely provision of resources without fail, crucial for the Templars' sustained combat readiness. The bulk of the force comprised knights, adhering to every order with unwavering devotion. In battle, they moved as a cohesive unit, each action synchronized by years of drilled obedience. Sergeants executed day-to-day orders, their diligence essential for maintaining order within the ranks. Even the simplest command was followed with absolute loyalty, reinforcing the chain of command's strength. This hierarchical structure interwove obedience with martial prowess and monastic discipline, creating a formidable force. Each knight knew his role and executed it flawlessly, demonstrating the power of collective submission to authority. The Templars' triumphs, from battlefield victories to the construction of fortresses like Croix des Chevaliers, were testaments to this unyielding obedience. It transformed ordinary knights into a formidable machine, bound by duty and discipline. For the Knights Templar, horses were not merely steeds but extensions of their spiritual mission. Their code specified that each knight should own at least 2 horses, one for battle and one as a reserve. The primary horse was to be trained in the art of warfare, adept at maneuvering through chaotic battlefields and withstanding the weight of a fully armored knight. The reserve horse served as a symbol of resilience and backup in case of emergencies or the primary horse's injury. Ritualized care was an integral part of their daily routine, reflecting their vow of poverty and obedience. Knights would spend hours grooming their horses, not just to keep them in peak condition, but as an act of devotion and humility. The bond between a knight and his horse was not merely practical, it was a spiritual connection, deepening their devotion to the order's mission. Even mundane tasks like feeding and watering were infused with ritualistic precision, a nod to their monastic roots and commitment to discipline. This meticulous care extended to the stables themselves, which were kept immaculately clean as a reflection of their inner purity. Every aspect of horse management was imbued with spiritual discipline, transforming even the most ordinary tasks into acts of devotion. This rigorous dedication to their horses mirrored their unwavering commitment to their monastic and martial duties. In the secretive world of the Knights Templar, silence was not merely a virtue, but a strategic necessity. Their code of conduct, combining monastic discipline with martial prowess, transformed ordinary knights into a formidable force. Central to their effectiveness was the vow of silence. The importance of secrecy in their operations cannot be overstated. In an era where enemies were ever watchful and alliances fickle, the ability to communicate covertly could mean the difference between victory and defeat. To facilitate clandestine communication, Templars employed a system of secret signs and cryptic symbols known only to them. These signs were often subtly woven into their daily lives, disguised as common gestures or innocent symbols. An unsuspecting observer might see nothing more than a casual wave or the tracing of a cross. However, to a fellow Templar, these seemingly innocuous actions conveyed vital information. A particular sequence of gestures could indicate the presence of danger or relay a crucial message. Beyond these visual cues, Templars also developed a sophisticated system of cryptography for written communications. Letters and dispatches were encoded in complex ciphers, decipherable only by those with the correct key. This ensured that sensitive information remained secure even if intercepted. The art of maintaining silence was not confined to communication alone. It extended into their everyday practices and rituals. Meals were taken in silence, with each brother reflecting on the day's events and the Brotherhood's mission. This silence was not merely a display of discipline, but also served to heighten their senses and awareness of their surroundings. In moments of crisis, the Templars' ability to remain silent was a formidable advantage. It allowed them to move undetected and strike without warning. Their commitment to silence was so profound that even their prayers were often recited silently, as a testament to their inner strength and devotion. Moreover, this vow of silence was not just a means of maintaining secrecy, but also a reflection of their spiritual cohesion. It fostered a deep sense of unity and shared purpose among the brothers, reinforcing their bond as a single, unified force. In this way, the vow of silence became more than just a strategic tool. It was an embodiment of their collective spirit and discipline. This rigorous dedication to silence bolstered both their military effectiveness and spiritual cohesion, transforming the Knights Templar into a formidable force unlike any other. At the heart of this monastic discipline was an architecture designed to reinforce their vows and support their dual role as soldiers and devout Christians. The layout of Templar monasteries reflected this delicate balance. Communal spaces were dedicated to prayer, creating a constant spiritual atmosphere that permeated daily life. These areas were often adorned with simple yet powerful symbols of faith, such as the iconic red cross on a white background. In contrast, living quarters were designed with an eye towards austerity and simplicity. Personal belongings were minimal, echoing the vow of poverty taken by each knight upon joining the order. The design also incorporated areas for penance and self-reflection, ensuring that each knight maintained a deep commitment to their spiritual duties. This environment was tailored to maintain the disciplined lifestyle required by their code of conduct, transforming ordinary knights into highly effective warriors and devout monks. By integrating these principles into their daily surroundings, the Templars created a living, breathing testament to their unique way of life. The architectural design of their monasteries was not just a reflection of their code, but an active participant in shaping and upholding it. As the Templars expanded across Europe and the Holy Land, each new monastery was built to these exacting standards, ensuring consistency and unity within their order. Their architecture served as a constant reminder of their purpose and the high ideals they were sworn to uphold. In this way, the Knights Templars' environment was a tangible embodiment of their disciplined lifestyle and moral code, reinforcing the principles that guided them in both spiritual and military endeavors. This intricate balance between monastic discipline and martial prowess transformed a disparate group of knights into a formidable force, leaving an indelible mark on the history of the medieval world. Their power lay in the symbols they wore and carried, subtle reminders of their commitment. Take, for example, the white mantle with a red cross. This was more than just a uniform. This simple design carried deep significance. The white represented purity, and the red stood for martyrdom. But the symbolism didn't stop at clothing. The Templars also bore a unique emblem, 2 horses drawing a plow under the yoke. This image signified their monastic life and military duty, humbly working the land, but also ready for battle. The 2 horses pulling the plow could also symbolize the balance between their spiritual devotion and their military prowess. These symbols served as constant reminders of their commitment, visible in every mirror, on every banner, and emblazoned on every seal. And so, the Templars remained a disciplined and formidable force throughout their history. Their symbols reinforced their vows and ensured that every knight stayed true to the Templar way. And, in the end, these symbols became not just emblems, but a part of their identity, deeply engraved in the history of medieval warfare. But the Templars' remarkable discipline and effectiveness didn't happen in a vacuum. To sustain their rigorous way of life, they forged strategic alliances with local powers. Alliances with local rulers like King Baldwin II ensured their quarters and resources remained secure. These alliances were critical, as the Templars' mission was not merely military, but also deeply spiritual. As the Templars grew in influence, their alliances helped sustain a way of life that combined monastic discipline with martial prowess. Their story serves as a testament to how political ties can support and sustain the highest ideals. This system not only facilitated the safekeeping of wealth, but also fostered economic stability across vast distances. It was a tangible manifestation of their monastic discipline and commitment to protecting and supporting those under their care. The Templars' involvement in trade was not just about profit, but also about supporting their mission. The wealth generated from these activities helped fund their operations and maintain their infrastructure. Moreover, their economic endeavors underscored the principle of service that was at the heart of their code. It was not merely about personal gain, but about using their resources to uphold their vows and fulfill their duties. In a time when wealth often meant power and individual gain, the Templars stood apart by channeling their economic strength into collective discipline and purpose. This underscores how economic stability underpinned their monastic discipline and fortified them as a formidable force. Their story continues to resonate, reminding us that true strength lies not just in martial prowess, but also in the stability and support that economic wisdom can provide. Illustrating this truth, the Templars' legacy endures as a symbol of how economic endeavors can bolster and uphold the highest ideals of discipline and service. As Jerusalem fell in 1187, the Knights Templar were among the last defenders, steadfastly upholding their vows amidst chaos and despair. The Templars, bound by vows of celibacy and obedience to their superiors, remained disciplined in combat. Under the leadership of Grand Master Gerard de Ridefort, they fought valiantly, their military training and discipline honed over years of rigorous practice. Despite the overwhelming odds, the Templars fought with unyielding bravery, a testament to the moral code that shaped them into formidable warriors. As the city fell, they stood as exemplars of the ideals their order embodied: loyalty, obedience, and unwavering devotion to their mission. Their sacrifice was not in vain. The Templars' legacy lived on as a symbol of how the highest ideals of discipline and service can endure even amidst great adversity. Their conduct during this critical event illustrates how their code of conduct was applied in the most trying circumstances, demonstrating its practicality and resilience. This resilience would continue to define the Templars as they rebuilt their order and continued to serve with unwavering commitment. Beyond their resilience, the Knights Templar were known for their innovative strategies in warfare, born from their unique code of conduct. This tactic required not only military skill, but also a deep spiritual commitment from each knight, ensuring they were prepared for the rigors of battle. This level of discipline facilitated complex formations and coordinated attacks that were crucial in turning the tide of battles. Historical accounts suggest that the Templars' vows of chastity, while debated, helped maintain a singular focus on their mission and devotion to God. This absolute dedication allowed the Templars to innovate strategies that other knightly orders could not match, transforming ordinary soldiers into a formidable force. As the Templars continued to serve with unwavering commitment, their innovative strategies became legendary, leaving a lasting impact on the art of warfare in the Holy Land. Through their disciplined approach and dedication to their mission, the Knights Templar demonstrated that true martial prowess is born not just from skill, but also from a deep adherence to a higher cause. Historical records reveal specific instances where Templars demonstrated uncommon compassion toward captured enemies. During the Siege of Acre in 1291, captured Saracen soldiers found themselves under the care of the Knights Templar. Rather than subjecting prisoners to harsh conditions, the Templars provided adequate food, water, and shelter, a stark contrast to the often brutal treatment meted out by other military orders. This approach was not born out of weakness, but from a deep adherence to their moral code. The vow of chastity, which often implied celibacy in monastic contexts, guided their interactions with prisoners. It fostered an atmosphere devoid of cruelty and sexual violence, common plagues in medieval warfare. This dedication to humane treatment did not diminish the Templars' effectiveness as warriors. Instead, it underscored their belief that true martial prowess is born from a deep commitment to a higher cause. The care of prisoners thus became an integral part of their code of conduct, reflecting a deeper commitment to spiritual values and monastic discipline. This unique approach transformed the Knights Templar into a formidable force on and off the battlefield. Ultimately, the Templars' care of prisoners stands as a testament to how their vows shaped not only their personal lives, but also their conduct in warfare. It is a reminder that true valor is not merely found in battles won, but also in the humane treatment of those who are captured. As the day draws to a close, the monastery of the Knights Templar is bathed in the soft glow of candlelight. The monastic life of these knights was as rigorous and disciplined at night as it was during the day. Their code of conduct, a blend of monastic discipline and martial prowess, shaped not only their personal lives, but also their routines within the monastery walls. These nighttime rituals were more than just religious observances. They served as a means to reinforce the bonds of brotherhood and unity that defined the order. The prayers and chants created an atmosphere of shared purpose and collective strength. As the night wore on, the Templars would prepare for the coming day, sharpening their swords and polishing their armor. These tasks were not just practical preparations, but also a part of their spiritual devotion. The monastery at night was a testament to the holistic nature of the Templar code, highlighting its impact on all aspects of life. It transformed ordinary knights into a formidable force, bound together by their sacred vows and disciplined in their every action. As dawn approaches, the monastery begins to stir with the quiet determination that characterizes these knights. Another day awaits them, filled with the same rigorous discipline and devotion that defines their lives. The monastery begins to stir with the quiet determination that characterizes these knights. The day brings not just rigorous discipline, but also intricate strategy and diplomacy. In 1192, the Templars played a pivotal role in negotiating the Treaty of Ramla with Saladin. This truce was crucial for securing safe passage and maintaining supplies across contested territories. The Templars' involvement in these negotiations showcased their strategic foresight and resource management skills. By aligning with local rulers, they ensured stability and reduced the strain on their military resources. In another instance, the Knights Templar engaged in delicate negotiations with Saladin to secure the release of captured Crusaders. These diplomatic efforts were not mere pauses in combat, but essential strategies to bolster their military effectiveness. The Templars' code of conduct extended beyond martial discipline, encompassing diplomatic skills that fortified their position as a formidable force. In the complex theater of medieval warfare, the Knights Templar demonstrated that their strength lay not just in combat, but also in strategic acumen. Their ability to navigate the intricate landscape of alliances and truces enhanced their effectiveness on the battlefield. Beyond their formidable military prowess, the Knights Templar also embodied a deep commitment to healthcare. Their code of conduct extended beyond martial discipline, encompassing the physical well-being of their members. The Templars established medical facilities and infirmaries across Europe and the Holy Land to care for wounded knights and the sick. These establishments were not just for their own use, but also served local communities. Their approach to healthcare was rooted in medieval medicine and herbal remedies, which they believed could both heal the body and soothe the soul. Historical records document that Templar hospitals were known for their cleanliness and advanced methods of wound care, including the use of honey to prevent infection. The Knights Templar saw no distinction between spiritual and physical health. Their code ensured that both aspects were tended to, reflecting their holistic view of well-being. For the Templars, caring for the sick was not merely a charitable act, but a sacred duty that aligned with their vows of poverty and obedience. Their medical facilities were often attached to monasteries, combining spiritual guidance with physical healing. This holistic approach to healthcare extended beyond the Templars themselves, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose among those they served. The care and maintenance of their members' physical health were integral components of the Knights Templars' moral code, demonstrating how their monastic discipline and warrior prowess were intertwined. Their rule required them to be literate, setting a high standard for learning and knowledge within the order. The Templars, influenced by Cistercian education, placed great emphasis on reading and writing. This commitment to literacy ensured that strategic plans and combat strategies could be effectively documented and shared among members. Notable scholars within the order contributed significantly to their intellectual development, with some even authoring notable treatises on military tactics and strategy. The education of the Knights Templar went beyond mere literacy, incorporating comprehensive training in combat strategies and military tactics. This culture of learning fostered a disciplined and strategic approach to warfare, enhancing their formidable presence on the battlefield. In essence, education was not merely an additional skill, but a core component of the Templars' monastic discipline and warrior prowess. By integrating knowledge into their code of conduct, the Knights Templar transcended ordinary knighthood to become a truly formidable force. In the heart of medieval Europe, the Knights Templar distinguished themselves through an unparalleled commitment to monastic education. Their monasteries were not just places of worship, but also centers of knowledge where knights were trained in reading and writing. This rigorous education was a cornerstone of their code of conduct, enabling ordinary men to become extraordinary warriors. Literacy was seen as an essential skill in the Templar order. It allowed knights to maintain accurate records of their deeds, finances, and communications across the vast distances they traveled. Within the monasteries, scriptoria were established workshops dedicated to copying manuscripts. Here, knights learned not only how to read, but also how to meticulously transcribe texts. The scriptorium was more than just a place of learning. It embodied the Templar ideal of discipline and precision. Each knight would spend countless hours replicating intricate calligraphy, honing their patience and concentration. This dedication to literacy was crucial for the Templars' mission. It ensured that their records were accurate, their communications clear, and their knowledge consistently expanded across Europe and the Holy Land. Beyond literacy, the scriptoria also played a role in preserving historical texts and religious teachings. This further deepened the knights' understanding of their faith and history. The depth of discipline required to master these skills was remarkable. It demanded that ordinary men dedicate themselves fully to the Templar ideals, transforming them into formidable warriors with a deep reservoir of knowledge and commitment. To maintain their mission of protecting pilgrims and safeguarding the Holy Land, the Knights Templar needed a stable source of income. Thus, they turned to agricultural endeavors, transforming vast tracts of land into productive estates. These agricultural efforts not only supported their military operations, but also exemplified the practical application of monastic discipline in daily life. Their agricultural practices were meticulously planned and executed with precision. The Templars selected crops that could thrive in the diverse climates of their holdings, from grains like wheat and barley to fruits such as olives and grapes. These crops were chosen for both their economic value and their utility in sustaining the order's mission. Innovative farming techniques, borrowed from ancient Roman practices, were employed to maximize yields. Advanced irrigation systems ensured that even arid regions could support robust agricultural production. These methods showcase the Templars' commitment to efficiency and sustainability, ensuring their estates remained productive year after year. The labor force on these estates was composed of both lay brothers, who took lesser vows, and local peasants. The Templars ensured that their workers were treated fairly, providing them with housing and sustenance in exchange for their labor. This approach not only fostered loyalty, but also aligned with the order's ethical principles of fairness and compassion. These agricultural endeavors required meticulous record-keeping to track yields, expenses, and profits. The Templars' accounting practices were highly advanced for their time, reflecting their dedication to both financial prudence and the spiritual ideal of stewardship over God's creation. Their ledgers provide valuable insights into medieval agricultural management. Despite their rigorous monastic vows, the Templars recognized the necessity of worldly engagement to support their sacred mission. Their involvement in agriculture was not just about sustaining themselves. It was a testament to their ability to blend spiritual dedication with practical prowess, making them formidable both on and off the battlefield. In doing so, they demonstrated that true devotion to a cause required not only spiritual commitment, but also the practical application of skills in managing resources effectively. This balance exemplified their unique approach as both warriors and monks, setting them apart from other medieval orders. This harmonious blend of spiritual discipline with agricultural acumen underscored the Templars' commitment to their mission. It was through such practical applications that they transformed ordinary knights into formidable forces, capable of defending not just military territories but also the ideals and values they held dear. As we explore further, we will see how these agricultural endeavors served as more than just a means of sustenance. They were a reflection of the Templars' dedication to their cause and a testament to their exceptional organizational skills. This practical application of monastic discipline in daily life not only ensured the order's financial stability, but also fortified their spiritual resolve, transforming them into a force to be reckoned with in both the spiritual and temporal realms. In the tumultuous world of medieval politics, the Knights Templar stood out not just for their martial prowess, but also for their diplomatic acumen. Their code of conduct, combining strict monastic discipline with martial prowess, guided them in their diplomatic missions. For example, in 1247, Brother William de Sollers was sent as an envoy to the court of King Louis IX of France. De Sollers was tasked with negotiating the release of captured Templars and securing aid for their ongoing crusades. Adhering to the vows of obedience and loyalty, de Sollers navigated the intricate political landscape with remarkable diplomatic skill. His success in these missions underscored the Templars' ability to maintain their spiritual discipline even amidst political intrigue. Another notable example is Brother Hugh de Mayens, who was dispatched to the court of King Philip II of France. De Mayens' mission was to secure funding and support for the Templars' operations in the Holy Land. While navigating the complexities of foreign courts, Templar envoys like de Mayens and de Sollers were bound by their vows of chastity and poverty. This strict adherence to their monastic vows while conducting diplomatic missions showcased the Templars' unique blend of spiritual discipline and political acumen. Their ability to balance these two seemingly disparate roles transformed them into a formidable force in both the spiritual and temporal realms. This intricate dance of monastic discipline and political savvy was the hallmark of the Knights Templars' diplomatic missions. As they traversed the complex landscape of medieval politics, their unwavering commitment to their code of conduct guided them every step of the way. This dedication extended not only to their behavior, but also to their architecture. The Knights Templar built fortifications that were as much about defensive design as they were about religious symbolism. In Jerusalem, the Templars constructed a stronghold on the Temple Mount that was both formidable and deeply rooted in their monastic discipline. The fortress's walls were thick, its towers high, and its gates heavily secured. These elements were essential for defense, but also reflected their code of chastity. This strict adherence to celibacy was mirrored in the fortress's layout, designed to keep out temptations and distractions. In Acre, another significant Templar stronghold, their architecture was no less impressive. The fortifications here were built with the same blend of defensive prowess and religious symbolism. The city's castle was not just a military base, but also housed a grand chapel at its heart. This blend of functional design and spiritual center was emblematic of the Templars' unique code. The chapel's architecture itself conveyed a sense of order and discipline that echoed their vows of obedience. Every detail in these structures, from the height of the towers to the layout of the chapel, served as a tangible embodiment of their disciplined and martial spirit. The Knights Templars' code of conduct thus transformed not only their living spaces, but also the very essence of their fortifications, creating a blend of monastic discipline and martial prowess that was truly formidable. For the Knights Templar, warfare was not merely a physical contest, it was spiritual combat as well. Their code of conduct integrated the concept of spiritual warfare, a belief that every battle fought was not just against opposing armies, but also against spiritual adversaries. This concept deeply influenced their military strategies and tactics. For example, during the Battle of Hattin in 1187, the Templars were part of a force that was outnumbered but fought with an unwavering commitment to their spiritual mission. Their belief in spiritual warfare meant they saw each battle as a chance not just to defeat an enemy, but also to uphold divine justice. This commitment gave them an extraordinary resilience and tenacity on the battlefield, making their military prowess formidable. The Siege of Acre in 1291 is another example where the Templars' unyielding spirit played a crucial role. Their belief that they were fighting on behalf of a higher cause fortified their resolve in the face of adversity. The Templars' unique blend of monastic discipline and military prowess created a powerful synergy that made them truly exceptional on the battlefield. Their fortifications, therefore, were not just physical barriers, but also bastions of their spiritual resolve. In battle, this spirit of humility transformed the Templars into a formidable force. Historical accounts tell us that their demeanor on the battlefield was marked by restraint and discipline. Rather than charging recklessly or seeking personal glory, they fought with calculated precision. Their humble demeanor allowed them to execute battle strategies that were not only effective, but also mindful of the lives of their fellow Templars and innocent bystanders. This consideration was evident in their use of specific formations that emphasized unity and mutual protection. Moreover, humility influenced their decision-making processes during crucial moments. By keeping personal ambition in check, they were better equipped to make choices that prioritized the collective good over individual gain. This unity of purpose was a key factor in their military successes throughout the Holy Land. Within the order, humility served as a binding force that maintained harmony and prevented divisions. By emphasizing the importance of obedience and mutual respect, The Templars ensured that their collective strength was not undermined by individual egos or personal disputes. The Knights Templars' deep religious commitment and devotion to their monastic life was paralleled by their military prowess, transforming ordinary knights into a formidable force. Their code of conduct emphasized strict obedience and mutual respect, creating an environment for continual martial improvement. These tactics, honed in battles like Hattin and Acre, turned the tide on numerous fronts. These strongholds became formidable bases from which they could launch offensives and withstand prolonged assaults. They were born out of the Templars' vows of discipline and obedience, fostering an environment where continuous improvement was paramount. The Templars became a force to be reckoned with, transforming ordinary knights into an elite and highly effective military order. Instead, they harnessed their power to drive martial innovations and enhance their effectiveness on the battlefield. Their legacy remains a testament to how monastic commitment and martial prowess can be seamlessly combined. Their story continues to resonate as a model of unity and strength in the face of adversity. Combining monastic discipline with martial prowess, the Templars developed unique tactics that transformed them into a formidable force during the Crusades. One of their most significant innovations was in siege warfare. The Templars mastered the art of breaching fortified walls, employing techniques such as tunneling beneath castles to undermine their foundations. Their monastic discipline ensured meticulous planning and execution, enabling the Templars to accurately calculate tunnel lengths and maintain structural integrity while their enemies slept above. These castles were designed with multiple layers of defense, including thick walls, towering turrets, and complex passageways to confuse invaders. The Templars' commitment to rigorous training and continuous improvement made their fortifications nearly unassailable. This prowess was enhanced by their monastic discipline, which emphasized unwavering loyalty and bravery on the battlefield. The Templars fought as a cohesive unit, their training and devotion creating an almost unstoppable force. The combination of monastic discipline and martial prowess allowed the Templars to develop unique and effective military strategies, further solidifying their status as a formidable force in the Holy Land. The Templars' prowess on the battlefield was not solely a matter of strength and skill. Their monastic discipline extended to an intricate network of intelligence gathering, making espionage an essential aspect of their military strategy. During the Crusades, the Knights Templar developed sophisticated methods for acquiring information. They maintained secret agents in key locations across Europe and the Holy Land. These agents were often embedded within local communities, posing as merchants or pilgrims. Their primary mission was to observe, listen, and report back any critical intelligence that could benefit the Templar Order. Among their most effective techniques was the use of encoded messages. Communications were written in ciphers, ensuring that only those with the proper decryption keys could understand the content. One notable example of their successful espionage operations occurred during the Siege of Acre in 1291. The Templars intercepted crucial intelligence about a planned assault by the enemy forces. This information allowed them to preemptively fortify their positions and launch a counterattack, turning the tide of the battle in their favor.